Hello, I'm Carlos Castillo from Project Finder, that is Fairness and Intersectional Non-Discrimination in Human Recommendation. This is a research project funded by the European Union that offers free and open methodologies, tools, and training. We offer a free course on fairness, accountability, transparency, and ethics of AI-based human recommendation. And this video is a brief summary of the 10th module, which is about auditing online job search. In the most common form, an audit usually means a financial audit, which is an independent examination of the financial information of a company. More in general, an audit is usually used to mean conformance testing, that is the evaluation of compliance with some requirements. We are used to conformance testing in many industrial applications, for instance, the testing of electrical installation or food. More generally, an audit can be defined as a tool to interrogate a complex process. An algorithmic auditing is a systematic scrutiny of an algorithm, and this may include, for instance, checking for conformity with non-discrimination principles. Audits usually address normatively significant questions, that is, questions related to values, usually questions about the public interest, about human rights, including instances of discrimination. These are three examples. In the case of fair housing, we may ask whether racial minorities are less likely to find housing through a platform. In the case of payola, which is the payment from music distributors to broadcasters, we may ask whether media content recommendations are influenced by these payments. And in the case of price discrimination, we may ask if a platform makes goods more expensive to some demographics or to some locations. Depending on who performs an algorithmic audit, it can be internal, that means developed by company employees with access to the internals of a system, or it can be an external audit but adversarial, which is sometimes done without the consent of the auditee to ensure a scrutiny of a typically opaque system. And it can be external but cooperative, that is, it's done externally but it has access to some of the internals of a system. Let's now look at some examples of audit designs. In a code audit, the platform discloses the algorithm and its code to an auditor. The auditor can then scan the code for direct discrimination rules. However, we know that in most cases of discrimination, the discrimination is not direct, it's indirect. That means it's produced by apparently neutral code. In a non-invasive user audit, the auditor asks questions to the users of an algorithm, for instance, through a survey. Among other problems, this type of audit suffers from selection bias and from self-reporting bias. In a scraping audit, the auditor downloads and extracts, that means scrapes, data from the public interfaces of a platform. This is an example of a scraping audit. Two job search portals, in this case LinkedIn and Viadeo, are scraped to determine the proportion of women among the top 15 results. And the scraping audit is repeated in three countries. This is an example. There is much more to cover, and some auditing frameworks have been developed for algorithms. For instance, this framework by Raji et al. In 2020 describes a series of steps that go from scoping to mapping to collecting artifacts and so on, and it includes some post-audit steps. At each step, there are some documents that are produced by either auditors or product teams or jointly. Buddha et al. In 2022 proposed another auditing framework that is composed of various steps, from the analysis of the context and theory to mapping user population and ending in the analysis of the results and on trying to find the best ways of mitigating the bias. Algorithmic auditing in general is an exciting and new topic that, of course, is constantly evolving. More information is available in the description of this video, including various ways of accessing the entire course.